I've been told that the governor of Anambra will speak now before His Excellency, the Vice President. My error. But just before that, for tomorrow, please note that there will be 5 sessions, so you can quickly determine which of the sessions you want to participate in: agriculture, agribusiness and livestock, the blue economy and transport infrastructure, solid minerals and mining, digital economy, energy, ecosystem, power, oil and gas. And that's your lineup for tomorrow. We'll be starting here in this hall at 9:25 a.m. Please come early, because we will not wait for you. And so the man who was an accomplished governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who is now the solutions provider for Anambra State, who's ready to partner with Delta because development has to be partnership defined, Governor Charles Soludo, to the microphone. You're welcome. Please, a round of applause for His Excellency the Governor.
Thank you. It's quite a shock, Your Excellency. I thought this was going to be one free lunch I'm going to have. Just come, listen to the Vice President, listen to you, listen to our keynote speaker, my senior sister, writing notes, ministers, and then I'll simply go home to Professor Lumumba and go home. And I was just standing up even to usher the Vice President, and I said I have to. Let me say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President, first, 1, 2, 3 things. I'm asked to give a goodwill message. Your Excellency, I bring you good tidings from Anambra State, the light of the nation. I'm sorry I came in about 15 minutes late because I was stuck in traffic at Onitsha. Today is a Monday, and to have a traffic at Onitsha on a Monday, the Monday sit at home is over. And I am here in solidarity with you, in solidarity with my rich neighbor, Delta State. You are the governor, a friend in whom I am well pleased. Any day, anytime. I had to move my executive council meeting today. We'll move it probably tomorrow or next. But this is very important, and I am very, very delighted to be here. I've listened to all the speeches. I'm not supposed to be saying anything. Like I said, I wasn't prepared to say a word. But just 2 quick footnotes to what I have heard. Number 1 is listening to the Honorable Minister of Finance and listening to our keynote speaker. One key message that was given is that from a macroeconomic standpoint, Nigeria has stabilized and on the rise. And that leads me to a point that you made, Mr. Governor. You and I are on the same page. I haven't borrowed a dime since I became governor. But I will hesitate to make the other one that you added, which is that you will never. Because if you look at what you just said, I mean the title of this conference, Unlocking the Opportunities. Nigeria has a paradox, which this macroeconomic stability that has been achieved is something to celebrate, because we have to realize where we are coming from. When I became governor, I pulled Anambra State out of an ongoing World Bank loan, NG Cares. And Anambra was the only state that pulled out. Why? Because the macro fundamentals, the foreign exchange, the exchange rate distortions were such that I told the World Bank that even at zero interest, it was still the most expensive fund in the world, given what I knew was going to be inevitable, an exchange rate realignment much later. If you were giving me money and I change it at 460 naira to the dollar today, when I know that tomorrow it will be over 1,000, even if you lend it to me at zero, the effective interest rate in it is over 100%. And so that's why Anambra pulled out. Today, that has changed. And therefore, breaking the paradoxes of Nigerian economy, we are a capital scarce economy, but which prior to 2023 was having a massive capital flight, double jeopardy. You have capital scarcity, but also losing capital in droves. Today is being reversed. You now have net foreign exchange reserves of about a little over 40 billion and gross reserves of about $52 billion, rising from 3 billion as at 2023. Rising from 3 billion as at 2023. So, and the exchange rate has become stable, more stable, predictable to a large extent, and therefore Delta and Nigerian economy and subnationals will require foreign capital. Be they Africa, be they from anywhere, will require foreign capital. And the environment, the macroeconomic environment is more conducive today. So I wouldn't make that kind of strong, I wouldn't maybe Delta, or you are my rich neighbor, you have a lot of oil money and so on. So you can, Delta can afford it. I'm not sure how many others can afford to do that. The second, and just following from what I have also heard, is that we need to work together. Delta is one of the 36 subnational states, plus FCT, plus the federal government, that's 38 governments, excluding the 774 local governments. We need to work together. Delta alone will try, but together, harnessing the neighborhoods. And I suggest that Delta and Anambra are literally like the relationship with the completion of the second Niger bridge. Is like twin cities. You now have us here, I mean, between New York and New Jersey, for example. We must now, as two states, cascade our relationship beyond our personal friendships to now working group. Because I can see in a whole lot of areas where Anambra could also piggyback on what is going on in Delta, and where Delta could piggyback on what is going on here. You have an economic free trade thing. We are building a new commercial industrial city powered by an aerotropolis. We have quite a lot in common, and we better synergize. And just on that, I'm happy it's been said by the chairman of this forum, this summit, that this is not just going to be another talk shop. I like what is going to follow after the vice president's speech, and that is the area of networking, deals. So that it's not just another, we talk and talk. I have had 2 investment summits, but those deals are the real thing. And at the end of the day, let's keep it simple. Let's make investment a habit and not an event. Let it go from being just an event we gather once in a while. And I give you one practical example. A missing area that I'm sure the president, working with the governors, under the National Economic Council, with the leadership of our able Vice President, will have to work, probably post-election, on a national consolidated Marshall Plan that will then drill down the macroeconomic changes down to now improving the other opportunities of employment, poverty reduction, getting it down, drilling it down to the ordinary person. But let me leave you with one thought. We cannot create the kind of jobs that we want with all of us patronizing foreign or imported goods. I look in this room and I see the suits from Europe, from America, from China. I see all, and that's Professor Lumumba. I agree with you. We've got to make it Africa. I can speak here on this issue that you raised till evening. But take one thing. I admire what my sister is wearing. If you look at me too, I am wearing akwete. Akwete is the name of a village in Abia. My daughter introduced me to it in 2019, and I have made it my daily uniform. And I understand the women of Akwete, their income has gone up, employment increased, and 2 or 3 weeks ago, the First Lady announced a donation of 2 billion to the place for them to scale it up, and even promised she was going to now wear it at the inauguration. If all of us, 247 million Nigerians, were only made in Nigeria, more than 10 million jobs will be created. I leave you to this, and I wish, therefore, that maybe in the next summit, Delta Summit or anywhere, we'll make it a rule. If you don't wear made in Nigeria, don't come. And that way, we can now walk the talk. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Shut up,